You're seeing those winds continue to diminish, and it looks like those wind advisories have all been allowed to expire now. While it is still breezy outside, the worst of the winds are over at this point. Temperatures in the 40s to right around 50 degrees, and we'll see milder numbers tomorrow. And without the wind, I think it'll feel pretty comfortable for you outside. Low temperatures tonight dropping back into the upper 20s to right around 30 degrees. That wind continues to diminish, and tomorrow looks like a really beautiful day with lots of sunshine and high temperatures climbing into the mid to upper 50s. Heading into your Wednesday, we're even warmer, low to mid 60s for high temperatures. We'll start the day off with some early sunshine, but I do think we'll see increasing clouds. There's a chance for a few scattered showers in the afternoon, but a better chance for some steadier and even heavier rainfall as we head into Wednesday night and Thursday morning. So here's what that looks like Wednesday during the day. Temperatures warming, maybe a sprinkle or two, but watch what happens as we head towards and after the evening commute. The rain really starting to fill in again. We might be able to get a nice soaking here. There is some, I don't want to say concern, but it's more of a novelty as we could see precipitation end as a few snowflakes in parts of the state, especially western Connecticut. While we're not expecting any accumulation out of this, it's more of a novelty than anything else, and it comes on April Fool's Day. So it just kind of means that Mother Nature has a sense of humor. Taking a look at the rainfall forecast, I think about an inch is a given at this point. We might be able to see even more than that. And after that last round of rainfall that we had over the weekend, this is really going to kind of even us out and hopefully get rid of that rainfall deficit. Chilly on Friday, but temperatures rebound and a nice dry weekend, guys.
Rachel, thanks.